Hi, everyone. A couple minutes late today. Michael's not going to be able to join us, so it's just me. And we were going to talk, everybody's talking about the Epstein files. And so we were going to talk a little bit about that and what that actually does or doesn't mean. I can tell you, in my view, I don't think it's going to come to much, honestly. They're not going to release anything that we probably don't already know, and anything extra that they do release um, is again probably going to be things that we could assume. Right? They're not going to be any new epiphanies, I don't think. um, in my opinion, from things that I've seen, it sounds like Epstein was probably a Israeli agent and worked for the Israelis. And that is hard for people to really understand or want to wrap their minds around, because a lot of people think that if you're not a fan of Israel, that you must hate Jews, and that is absolutely untrue. Um, you could not like the government and still like the people. I don't know how those two even go together, to be honest with you, and how people can think that, that's like saying, I don't like the American government. I think our government is, you know, everything that they're doing, the things that they're doing are destroying America. And that doesn't mean that I don't like Americans, right? Same thing. So I think that there's a lot of bigger things that we need to look at, and not stick our heads in the sand. There's a lot of people that have dual citizenship with Israel, and it seems to me that they have a lot of control over what's happening. Eric Adams, for example, in New York, his very first trip after he was elected was to Israel. His very last trip as outgoing is again to Israel to tell them that he's still here working for them. So to me, it sounds like he's gone there to go get his new barking orders. So that is just my 2 cents in the whole thing. I think it's disgusting to see that people are just not, that this isn't. I realize that they're voting on it and it's making it seem like it's a priority, but in reality, it's not exactly. It's taken them years. I highly doubt we ever see anybody of any significance actually prosecuted. The Clintons have been called out numerous times, and you're not seeing anybody actually go after them. So I don't know. There's a lot of problems here with it, and I think it's pretty sad to see. If I see that we have quite a few people on listening to me jabber, but what kind of questions do you guys have? What kind of comments do you have? I'd love to hear what you think. I mean, I think that mainstream doesn't really get into the whole Epstein and Israel, as far as I've seen, and how much Israel really has control over what's happening in our government, and how many of the officials, I saw something for COVID, that so many of the officials during COVID had dual citizenship. They're making the decisions for what's happening here, but they have dual citizenship with the Israelis, or with Israel, excuse me. And they work for the Mossad, and all of these things. And why is that okay? Why is it okay for people to have a dual citizenship? That should not be okay. It should be America first, right? We should be here supporting what we need and not worried about what Israel wants us to do, or what any other country, Venezuela, Mexico, the UK. It shouldn't matter what they want us to do. We should be taking care of ourselves. So I am not sure really where else to take that on my own today. I have a whole lot of opinions, obviously, but I would implore you to to check it out and see some of these connections for yourself. Brandy Cruz has done a little bit on it. there's quite a few different people who have a lot more information than I do that I watch, talking about these things. And I think it's really important that we understand where the decisions are being made and who is making them and what affiliations they have. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that Senator Kennedy had put up a bill to make it where you have to be a U.S. citizen in order to hold office, period, right? Not just for the presidency, but in Congress, in lower offices, in our city councils, even, and our school boards. Like, we should be making decisions for our people, not that represent other nations. So I hope that doesn't sound too incredibly crazy to people. I feel like that should be pretty standard. What else? Let's see. I know that there's some news up in Seattle about the school, or actually not Seattle, but in Olympia, the school superintendent has been sent out an email that is, actually, I probably shouldn't even talk about it because I don't have all the information on it, to be honest with you. I heard today when I was listening to a podcast talking about that they're promoting, essentially telling kids that it's okay to have, like, doesn't matter how many partners you have, that that as long as you're careful, it's not a big deal. And just, I don't know. The sexual health of our children should be taught at home, I think, not in our public schools for them to put whatever twist that they want on it. Just looking at my notes here. Anyway, I don't see any comments. I'm not sure if that's because you guys aren't commenting, or maybe I haven't figured that part out of this yet. But listen, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. But if you guys have any questions or have any comments, like, let's continue this in the comments. I'd love to know, do you see the U.S.-Israel connection where, they seem to be making a lot of the decisions that are happening in our government? I would be curious if that's just something crazy talk, or what do you think about that? Please share your thoughts. I would love to hear them. And I hope that you guys have a great Tuesday. Thank you.